As you read, and in your language arts class, you are constantly encountering new and unusual vocabulary. How on earth can you remember all these new words so that you can use them in the future? The answer is by creating mnemonic devices. A mnemonic device is a strategy that you can use to easily recall information that you have previously learned. There are many different mnemonic devices that you can use, and this presentation will outline several of the strategies that you can start using right now to help you remember new vocabulary. Our first strategy is rhyming. So for instance, let's say you are trying to remember the word beseech, meaning beg. You want to start by thinking of different words that rhyme with beseech that you can connect to the word beseech. So for instance, the rhyme beach. You could think of the example of beseeching your parents to take you to the beach. Let's say you wanted a peach. You might beseech someone for a peach. Or perhaps someone asks you for your favorite ice cream flavor. You might beseech them to give you one of each. All of these rhymes, coupled with these images that you keep in your head, can help you remember that the word beseech means beg. The second strategy is sounds like. This is when you think of a word that sounds like but doesn't technically rhyme with the word that you are trying to remember. So for instance, let's say you're trying to remember the word sycophant. Sycophant means someone who tries to earn favors by complimenting someone, sucking up to them, or doing favors for them in order to get something that other people do not have the opportunity to receive from this person. So if you think of something that sounds like sycophant, you might come up with the idea of elephant. So you can imagine an elephant complimenting someone else in order to earn some sort of special treatment from them in the future. You might use the same strategy with the word malevolent, meaning evil. You might notice that the second half of the word, valent, sounds a little bit like violent. And oftentimes malevolent figures will use violence in order to get what they want. So if you can connect the word violent with malevolent, you will be able to remember the meaning of the word malevolent more easily. Our third strategy is alliteration, repeating the same initial sound at the beginning of multiple words to help us remember. So let's say we're trying to remember the definition of procure. Procure means to get or to obtain. I want to think of something that I want that starts with a P. How about puppies? So I might remember, please procure me puppies, in order to remember that procure means to get or to obtain. Our next strategy is words within words. Sometimes, when you're learning new words, you notice that there is a word within the word that you can connect to the meaning of the word in some way. So let's say you're trying to remember copious, meaning many, berate, meaning yell at, and pugnacious, meaning argumentative and always ready to fight. You might notice that there are words within these words that can help you remember. For instance, the word cop is within copious, the word ate is within berate, and the word pug is within the word pugnacious. So for copious, you might picture an event that you were at where there were many cops walking around trying to keep the peace. So by picturing copious cops, you can remember that copious means many. Or perhaps one time you ate a piece of birthday cake before the birthday boy or girl and got berated for being so greedy. You can think of that image even if it hasn't actually happened to you. For pugnacious, you might picture an angry pug, a pug that's ready to fight or argue, to help you remember that pugnacious means argumentative and ready to fight. Our fifth strategy is acronyms. You've learned acronyms before, like Roy G. Biv, which is used to help you remember the colors of the rainbow. Each letter in Roy G. Biv stands for a piece of information that you need to remember. This works very well for remembering lists, but you can also do something similar to help you remember your vocab words. For instance, let's say you're trying to remember that the word fray means battle. You might come up with a phrase, or a sentence where each word begins with one of the letters in fray to help you remember the meaning battle. So let's come up with a little scenario that we could use to help us remember fray. So let's imagine that our aunt always brings these delicious baked yams to family Thanksgiving, and there's only one serving left. Your cousin Rachel wants that serving of baked yams, but so do you. A fray might ensue. And you can remember the phrase fighting Rachel for Auntie's yams, F-R-A-Y, to help you remember that fray means a battle. Our last technique is strong image. Sometimes, when you're trying to memorize a word, you just can't use any of those other strategies. It's too long for an acronym. It doesn't sound like anything you're familiar with. There aren't any words within the word that help you remember. And you would rather just tie the word to some sort of strong image. So let's say we're trying to remember the word malevolent, meaning evil, and we just didn't see that valent sounds a bit like violent. We could think of our favorite supervillain and connect the word malevolent with that supervillain. So of these options on the screen, I would choose to remember Maleficent, because Maleficent also sounds like malevolent, but if I'm not familiar with that villain, I might choose any of these other villains and just remember the phrase malevolent plankton or malevolent joker. And if I repeat that enough to myself, I will remember that malevolent means evil and associate it with that person that I chose. Strong image works really well in combination with our other strategies. So, for instance, let's say we're trying to remember myriad, meaning many. Myriad sounds a lot like pyramid, but picturing one pyramid is not going to help us remember that myriad means many. Instead, we want to picture multiple pyramids, myriad. Our next word is skullduggery, meaning mischief. Inside the word skullduggery is the word skull, so if we picture someone with a skull tattoo up to no good, we can easily remember that skullduggery means mischief. As you can see, these mnemonic devices, rhyming, sounds like, alliteration, words within words, acronyms, and strong image can easily be used to increase our chances of recalling important information quickly and easily. So the next time you encounter a new word or need to study for a test, I beseech you, put these copious strategies to work for you.